Tonight, a new trial program for victims of domestic violence.
The service improving patient flow at Cairns Hospital.
Unions vow to fight for sugar mill employees.
And a new lease on life for an aged care hub.
This is 7 News with Brough and Joanne Desmond.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good evening.
Cairns is leading the state as the government rolls out a new domestic violence response unit in our city. Social workers will now join police on jobs to de-escalate and educate offenders.
Cairns recorded 2,000 domestic and family violence charges in the last 12 months, earning the dubious title of DV Capital of Queensland and the ideal candidate to trial a new approach.
That we can change behaviour of those doing harm as well as protecting those who are being harmed.
The co-response unit will combine DV specialists from Relationships Australia and local police officers to offer support to both victim and perpetrator.
Immediate intervention, opportunity for reflection of the impact of their behaviour on their family.
The service will be available 7 days a week from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. with 4 DV experts on shift.
It will allow our officers to feel that level of comfort that there is some support for them as well.
The LNP supports the trial but wants more transparency on the tender process.
Relationships Australia is a large organisation. They have a very small amount of domestic violence specialised services, including the perpetrator program here in Cairns.
The program will run until 2026 and, if successful, will be rolled out in multiple locations.
Bringing DV workers and police, not just in the police station but into people's homes together, can and will make a difference.
Sophie McManus, 7 News.
And a reminder, if you or anyone you know needs help, contact DV Connect on 1800 811 811.
Patients who undergo surgery at Cairns Hospital will get some extra care following a $1 million state government investment into the health facility. The post-operative discharge service supports recovery post-op with extended medical imaging, hours and a phone number to call for assistance.
That will mean that people that are in the queue, if you like, that are in the emergency department or in the hospital, should be able to get their scans done earlier.
It's part of the Miles government's $23 million investment to improve patient flow at Queensland hospitals.
Woolmar Sugar employees suspended their strike action today after the international conglomerate threatened to lock them out. But unions have vowed to keep fighting for better working conditions for all mills.
It's one of the biggest employers in regional Queensland. But workers at Woolmar Sugar have been left feeling sour. They've been negotiating for better pay for over a year.
Although the unions have moved from our original claim of 28% down to 18%, Woolmar have not moved at all.
Strike action was planned for today, but that was suspended.
One thing we will be doing is kicking off a boycott at the ACTU Congress tomorrow, a boycott against all Goodman Fielder Products, who's one of the Woolmar subsidiaries.
Woolmar threatened anyone who took part in the strikes would be locked out until further notice.
That means they won't be able to go to work, they won't be able to earn any money.
Unions are worried this tactic could set a precedence for other mills.
If Woolmar get this offer up, it'll certainly be the offer that the rest of the industry tries to apply.
But Woolmar Sugar says, we have made a number of offers to try to reach a fair and reasonable outcome that we can sustain over time.
They should make a fair wages offer to their workers.
You should be negotiating in good faith with the workers.
Employees are expected to vote on a new agreement next week. Frank Russo, 7 News.
Meanwhile, a public meeting about the future of the Mossman Mill is taking place this Friday. Katter's Australian Party, alongside the Cane Farmers Association, will host the meeting from 10 a.m. at the Mossman Shire Hall. They plan to discuss ways to keep the mill alive rather than just settling for $12 million to fund one final cut. It comes after a draft agreement was put in place to send cane sugar from Mossman to the Gordon Vale mill.
A surprise donation from a Swedish beauty company could soon see a turtle rehabilitation centre built on Green Island. But stakeholders say it's now up to the state government to put their plan into action.
Jenny Gilbert and her team at Cairns Turtle Rehabilitation Centre are on a mission to educate the next generation of marine conservationists in Cairns.
So the Green Island Centre is a totally different centre. It's going to be based on education, getting kids involved, working with turtles.
The organisation currently has 3 rehabilitation centres, but had the idea to create a 4th educational facility on Green Island after a Swedish company approached them.
So they raised over $100,000 US, which is very exciting.
The funds would help buy lab and rehabilitation equipment.
So if we have a little lab over there with some, microscopes and things and get them saying, OK, we'll take a water sample.
But Jenny says while the money will go far, building on an island isn't cheap and the centre needs the state government to help out.
I'm very happy to have conversations on her behalf with the state and also with the Commonwealth to see what funding we can release to make it happen.
Sophie McManus, 7 News.
A new study from the Commonwealth Bank has revealed the number of Queenslanders moving from metropolitan to regional areas has hit a 12-month high. Numbers have surged during the first quarter of the year to 20% higher than before the pandemic. The Regional Australia Institute says the figures prove more city slickers are seeking a regional lifestyle.
An aged care hub that was swept away in the December floods is now on the road to recovery with plans for a therapeutic garden. But the facility needs plant or money donations to revive the dilapidated building.
The Holloway's Beach Aged Care Facility was a day retreat for elderly residents. But in December, it was ripped apart by floodwaters. More than 1 metre of water swept through Centrecare's building, ruining furniture and destroying the gardens.
It's going to need a complete rebuild virtually inside. So we've been out of here now for 6 months in temporary accommodation, waiting for the insurance to be finalised.
That money finally came through last week.
And we're really hopeful that we'll be back in here by about September or October.
Owner of Water Gardens Nursery, Adam Griffiths, has offered to rebuild their garden free of charge.
We want to come in here and contribute with the community to help redesign. So we've given a free design service to redesign the whole sensory garden here.
But he'll need some green thumbs and the generous hands of the wider community.
Okay, so come to Water Gardens and you can offer a pledge of money to pay for the plants that are going into this area. Anywhere between $5, $10 and $20 would be a great help.
Christina Pooljak, 7 News.
And ahead tonight in 7 News, the life-saving equipment bound for the Torres Strait.
And thousands of divers unite to protect the Great Barrier Reef.
Cairns turns to 7 News to keep up to date on local issues, and we want you to be a part of it. If there's something happening in your street, your suburb, we want to know about it. Send us a message or drop us an email.
Thanks for joining us here on 7. 15 communities in the Torres Strait are set to receive defibrillators in a push to better their local health care. The devices will be rolled out to medical centres on Thursday Island, Horn Island and Hammond Island before the end of June. Torres Council Mayor Philemon Mosby says only 5% of local islanders who suffer a cardiac arrest will survive without the machine. Council will also offer first aid training on each of the islands.
3,000 divers from up and down the east coast have launched a charity group in a push to prevent further damage on the Great Barrier Reef. Divers for Climate say they bring a unique perspective from beneath the surface, and they have the stunning images to prove it.
The Great Barrier Reef is on the brink of its 5th mass coral bleaching event. And the people who see that coral up and close every day are now calling for action.
We're doing 2 things. We're celebrating World Oceans Week, which is this week, and we are launching officially the group that is Divers for Climate. We have been a community group for a few years and we've just become a registered charity group.
The 3,000 members spread across the length of the reef say their biggest advantage is their personal connection with the underwater world.
The Australian climate movement is still really kind of missing this piece that is what's happening underwater and kind of hearing those climate stories from people who are witnessing climate change in the face.
Stories like coral wilderness and the rapid disappearance of kelp forests and seagrass. And they're letting these incredible pictures do the talking, gathering in Cairns last night to launch a film shot from their own perspective.
A brilliant documentary that's been put together by some of the most passionate people that are working to look at how we can best support the system as we're facing more and more threats.
Hundreds of ocean lovers came to donate to the new charity and raise awareness.
Everyone who was part of this film and everyone who will be watching this film will have gained an emotional connection at some point, a true passion and love for the reef.
Christina Pooljak, 7 News.
A new study has revealed sharks off Queensland are becoming smaller and more scarce, and mesh nets are to blame. Researchers say the decline could be detrimental to our marine ecosystem.
Apex sharks are crucial to the marine food web along the Queensland coast, but a new study has revealed tiger sharks, great whites and other shark species are declining.
Human disturbance, human impacts in the ocean has really resulted in a shift in the diversity.
Dr. Chris Henderson at the University of the Sunshine Coast says that shift can be attributed to several factors, including the mesh nets used for the state's shark control program.
There's definitely ways that we could improve how the program is, implemented, and whether that's improving technology.
Dr. Henderson claims the decline could impact our coastal environment and reef health. There are calls to replace the 27 Queensland nets with drum lines, ideally year-round. Since 1989, New South Wales has removed netting during whale migration season.
We just really wish the department would follow what New South Wales did, which is take nets out.
Today, a whale became entangled in shark netting off the Sunshine Coast.
Look, we had a record number of entanglements last year, and we fear that it's going to be even worse this year.
In a statement, Fisheries Queensland said the government will continue to work to reduce the risk of shark bites through the existing program and also trial new mitigation technologies. Tom Duffy, 7 News.
All right, well, I wonder what we're going to talk about in sport tonight.
Bring it on, Joe. Netball? Whoops. Big night for 6 of our Cowboys in Sydney,
Yeah, just a tad bruffy. Origin 1, it's almost here, and former Cowboy and current Queensland assistant coach Josh Hannay, he's got the Maroons and their fans fired up for this one. We'll have more on that next. And the North Queensland junior who's coming home after a stint in the UK Super League.
Stream 7 News anywhere, anytime, live and on demand on 7plus. And with 7news.com.au, you'll know the news now.
They were cool, calm and collected this morning, but don't be fooled. We know what tonight means for these Queenslanders.
Every one of them wants to go out tonight, and we'll go out tonight and die for the jersey and die for the state. I know that they're strong words, but that's literally how our guys feel about representing the people of Queensland. Our connection to state is our superpower.
And if anyone has that superpower, it's Ruben Cotter. He was their 80-minute man last year, playing every second of the series, even winning the Wally Lewis medal for the 2023 Player of the Series.
Any chance that you get to represent this jersey, and however many minutes that is, I'll take it with both hands.
And he's in good company. 4 of his Cowboys teammates will run out alongside him tonight.
We're all just rapt to be here and to be given this opportunity again, because it's a very special one.
While teammates back home might not be alongside them, they will be right behind them.
Queenslander. I'm a Queensland through and through, but shout out to Robbo. Hope you go good, but Queensland to the death.
Unfortunately, I have to wear blue today, but I wore my Maroons hat, which is great.
Meanwhile, the women have completed their captain's run on the eve of what could be a series decider. Cowboys' Mackenzie Wheel and Emma Mandelman will come off the bench, but will it stay that way?
That's what it says on paper, doesn't it? So, we've got, Emma Packy comes into the mix as our 17th player, Sienna in 13, Ali back at 7.
Queensland must beat the Sky Blues in front of a sold-out stadium at Newcastle tomorrow night to keep the series alive for Game 3 in Townsville.
I already know they're going to show up. Townsville is a great place. They showed up last year and they're definitely going to show up.
Emma Halliday, 7 News.
And the Cowboys have delivered another surprise signing, and this 25-year-old forward is coming home from the UK Super League. Proserpine Brahmins junior Kai O'Donnell has signed a 2-year contract. The former North Queensland Academy player broke into the NRL with a debut at Canberra back in 2020. The second rower then spent the past 3 seasons in the UK with the Lee Leopards, even helping them to Super League promotion in his first season.
It's good that obviously a local boy coming back to the club is pretty cool, and obviously he's been playing some good footy overseas.
As we saw before, the side will be watching tonight's big game and they're hoping the Super Six involved avoid any injury. But Kyle Felt says Origin stars or not, they have a team that can beat the Warriors, especially after that massive victory over the Roosters.
The boys have been named in the extended squad, so if we get 1 or 2 of them back, it'll be a bonus. But if not, obviously we've got the team that can put a win on the board, so we're pretty confident, pretty happy about last week's result.
Saturday's game kicks off 5:30 p.m. at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. The Northern Pride are also waiting on the status of the Cowboys' Origin stars to see who they'll have available for Saturday's big Q Cup clash with Burleigh. And they'll need all hands on deck to face an opponent that coach Eric Smith says are the competition benchmark.
The Burleigh Bears have burst through opponent after opponent in 2024, recording the most wins in the competition so far. The Pride say they can't afford to take a backward step when they collide.
It's probably going to be our biggest test of the year. We're really keen to rip in and see where we sit against the benchmark in the competition.
By the time Saturday rolls around, it'll be 15 days in between games for the Pride. It was time off to rest some tired legs.
The bye, I think, fell at a really good time for us. There's a few guys with some bumps and bruises, nothing serious, but it was good to give the guys that have been consistently playing cup a bit of a break.
They're waiting to get the final word on the Cowboys' Origin stars before confirming their team, with 4 players called up to the NRL side last week, including the experienced Jake Clifford and in-form winger Braden Burns.
Yeah, there could be a couple of late inclusions into our squad that we name, just depending on who backs up. But if no one comes back, we're still pretty confident with our squad that we've got anyway, that we can go out and do a job on the weekend.
Finally back home after 7 weeks, the Pride play 4 of their next 5 games at Barlow Park, where they haven't lost all year.
Looking forward to being in front of our home fans again. I think our 3 best performances have been the games at home, so hopefully we can continue on with that trend.
James Ingram, 7 News.
Broughy Joe, if you weren't ready for tonight, I'm pretty sure the speech from Josh Hannay's got you ready. Excitement to the max, bring it on. Can't wait.
Joe's ready, eh?
Yeah.
Certainly ready, absolutely. OK, well, after the break, Livio joins us and he'll have all the details on the weather for us.
Well, good evening. Livio Regano with tonight's weather. Generally very pleasant today across Queensland, despite increasing cloud over southern inland areas, culminating in some showers on the Darling Downs. 1 or 2 of those showers may reach southern coastal areas tomorrow ahead of a clearing change on Friday, leading to a cool but sunny weekend statewide. In Cairns today, our temp range was 19 to 27 degrees and Mareeba fell to just 16 this morning, which is 1 degree warmer than yesterday. In fact, humidity in Cairns was 76%. On the satellite loop, you can see that big band of cloud advancing from the west. Notice it's a lot more broken than it was this time yesterday, so the system producing it has weakened slightly, but it has managed to get some of those showers almost bordering on thunderstorms getting into the Maranoa and Darling Downs. You can just see them pop up there. Tomorrow we'll see a couple of those reach the coast. It won't be too much, and maybe the granite belt. The tropics should stay dry the whole time. So today's chart. High pressure system, it's offshore now, it's only a weak one anyway. We've got a low sitting inland, that's actually part of a broad trough which reflects the upper system. It's only a weak system, as I said, but it is making the winds pretty light. You can see the open isobar pattern. So once again, we did have fog and frost this morning. Tomorrow's chart, the trough moves offshore a little bit ahead of schedule. So we come up with a cool change, probably a little bit later in the day. This is the day, if any day, we'll get a couple of coastal showers over southern Queensland, probably not that many. Then on the outlook chart, the trough the trough is well and truly out to sea, and the new surge of southwesterlies brings the temperature down and a lovely sunny weekend right across Queensland. To the latest now from BOM, the boating forecast for Cairns waters, south to southeast winds, 15 to 20 knots tomorrow and Friday, and on Saturday still no change. It's new moon, so the tidal range has reached its peak. The morning high tide will be very high, the afternoon low tide very low, and the evening high tide's going to be huge. North Tropical Coast and Tablelands, partly cloudy, no rain but some inland fog. Cairns 19 to 26 degrees, 23 for Atherton, Innisfail 25, Mareeba 26. Looking ahead for Cairns, a subtle cooler change arrives this Saturday, affecting mainly minimum temps. All the evidence points to a stunning weekend with crisp mornings and bright blue skies continuing well into next week. For Atherton, the mornings will be a lot crisper, of course. Sunday morning's the one to watch out for, just 9 degrees. Could even be some frost in surrounding areas. Nothing more I need to say for now, except to enjoy whatever weather comes your way, or at least make the most of it, and certainly don't complain about it because nobody can change it, least of all me. Catch you tomorrow. Now it's back to the team.
Yeah, good on you, Liv. Thank you very much, mate. Enjoy the footy tonight. Go Queensland. We'll catch you tomorrow night.
And also just a reminder, you can watch a replay of our news on the 7 Plus app or check out our page 7news.com.au. And from all of us here, good night.
Good night.